Hello students, Mr. Vegan here. I'm going to show you how we can measure a skull like this one to figure out the cranial capacity or the size of the brain that would be inside this skull. The skull I'm holding right here is a modern Homo sapiens, so this has a skull very similar to your own, and I'll show you the exact and accurate way to do this, and also the kind of easy estimate. We're going to be doing the easy estimate today. But if you have a skull like this and you wanted to get a really exact measurement of the brain size, you would turn it over and you'll see a hole on the bottom, kind of a big hole, and that hole is called a foramen magnum, which means big hole. And you can probably guess that that's where the backbone would go into the skull, and inside that hole would be the brain. So if we knew how big that space was on the inside, we would know how big this person's brain was, and that would help us make some guesses about what they're capable of doing intellectually. So for this person, I could actually take my skull like this, and I could pour into the hole maybe sand or something like that, fill it all the way up, and then that would be taking the place of the brain. So that would represent the amount of sand that is equal to a brain. Then I could take that and I could pour it out into something like this graduated cylinder, and I could find out exactly how much it is in cubic centimeters, which is this. So when we measure brain size, we're really finding out how many cubic centimeters big is the brain. Is ours the biggest of any animal? Is it the biggest of any type of human that's ever lived? That's what we can find out from this. Now, in our case, for our experiment today, we're not actually going to pour sand into the brain, partly because the skulls that we're looking at today, other than this one, they're all made out of plastic. So the hole is actually filled in. There's no way to pour anything into it. This is actually a reproduction of a real fossil from long ago. But we can still measure the brain size by using a little bit different method. So here's how we'll do this. We're going to do two measurements of the skull. We're going to measure it from side to side and from front to back. But when we do this, we're going to use a piece of string. So I'll do front to back first. When I'm measuring from front to back, what I really want to measure is from this point right here, that's in between the eyebrows, not in between the eyes, in between the eyebrows. And you're going to go from that spot all the way to wherever it sticks out furthest in the back. If you put your fingers up on the back of your head right now, which is like this, you would feel a bump on the back of your head. Well, for this creature, that would be really right down at the base of the skull there. So wherever it sticks out furthest. So I'm going to take my string and I'm going to pinch it between those 2 points. So I'm going to squeeze it down with my finger between the eyebrows, go straight across the top of the skull, down to where it sticks out the most, and I'm going to pinch it with my finger and thumb. Now, when I let go, this piece of string represents the distance from front to back. So I'm going to take my ruler or meter stick, lay it down flat, and I'm going to measure what that distance is. Okay, trying not to forget where I'm pinching it. Lay the string on there flat, stretch it out, and I'm getting an 18 centimeters. Now I wouldn't try to be too exact here. You're not going to measure down to the nearest millimeter, but you could round to the nearest half centimeter. So if it was like right there, I could say 17.5. But when I stretch out the string, this one looks like it's at about 18. All right, that's the front to back measurement. Now I have to do side to side. To do that, I want to look at these two arches. These actually represent your cheekbones, like right here. And these are called the zygomatic arches. And we're going to measure from right here at the back of the arch where it joins the skull to the same point on the other side, straight across the top. So we'll do it the same way. Straight over the top. Pinch between your finger and thumb. Let go. And you can put that against the ruler. And it looks like this one is pretty close to 20 centimeters. And make sure you are using centimeters. Don't use the inches side of the ruler. Use the centimeters side. Okay, now I have my two numbers. And what you're going to do with those two numbers on your paper is you're going to write the front to back number, where you think it goes. Figure out which animal you're looking at, which creature you're looking at. Write the front to back number. Write the side to side number. And then later at the end of this activity, you're going to take a calculator and multiply the two numbers, and that will give you the approximate brain size for that creature. Okay. Now, one little problem you're going to have with a couple of the skulls. Here's one example right here. When this skull was found, it was missing the arch on one side. So we have to try to figure out where that would be. And also, this creature has a crest on top of its skull. So that's going to get in our way a little bit too. So when I go from front to back, I'm going to start between the eyebrows. So that would be about right there. I'm not going to be able to run the string right on top of that arch, on that ridge, but actually I don't want to because there's no brain there. It's just bone. So I'm going to go next to it as close as I can. Maybe your partner can help you hold the string right there to wherever it sticks out most in the back, right about there. Now I can take that string, put it on the ruler and measure. And when I go side to side, that's a little bit of a challenge too, because I'm going from right here where the zygomatic arch joins the skull, and on the other side, the arch is missing. So I have to figure out where would that spot be. Probably about right here. So I'm going to go right across at that point. And then again, measure the string. I know we're getting pushed up a little bit by the ridge there, but we'll just ignore that and measure that piece of string right there. Okay? That's what you're going to do for all of the skulls that you're going to measure today. And then we'll compare answers and see how people did.